भी हम ये देखते हैं कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप रिसर्च में इनका काफ़ी नाम है दुनिया के अंदर और वो काफ़ी मदरली हैं, फ्रेंडली हैं, हमारी सरपरस्ती करती हैं, इसलिए हमने उनको दावत दी है। इसकी कई वजूहत हैं। वंस अगेन हम ये समझते हैं कि हमारी ख्वातीन को अपनी वैल्यूज़ का भी पता हो और इंटरनेशनल एक्सपोजर भी हो। दोनों चीज़ें अगर मिल जाएंगी तो वो आई थिंक कि वो आदमी में जैसे हमारे शायर मशरक़ अल्लामा इकबाल, he did his PhD from Germany. He spent there like many years. यूरोप को देखा तो अल्लामा इकबाल क्या कहते थे, छूटे मुझसे लंदन में भी ना छूटे मुझसे आदाब सहर खेजी। तो अल्लामा इकबाल कहते थे, नगीन साहिबा वो ये फरमाते थे कि लंदन में भी ना छूटे मुझसे आदाब सहर खेजी। मैं लंदन पढ़ने गया हूँ ना तो वहां पर भी मैं तहज्जुद में उठ जाता। लंदन जाकर उनका वेस्टर्न लाइफस्टाइल ने भी मुझसे तहज्जुद के वक्त का उठना मुझसे छुड़ा नहीं सका। मैं अपने वैल्यूज पे कायम रहा। तो वेस्ट से भी हम अच्छी चीजें सीखेंगे और ईस्ट से भी अच्छी चीजें सीखेंगे और यूरोप से भी अच्छी चीजें सीखेंगे और अपने वैल्यूज को ऊपर भी काम करेंगे। तो इसलिए हम कीप ऑन इनवाइटिंग इंटरनेशनल गेस्ट्स। और अगली जो हमारी गेस्ट आएंगी इंशाल्लाह वो भी कमाल की खातून है, बांग्लादेश से उनका ताल्लुक है और वो अमेरिका चली गई, हार्वर्ड बिजनेस स्कूल से MBA किया और क्या कमाल, यानी मेरे ख्याल है सदर साहबा मेरे 10 साल हो गए IBA में। She was the best guest speaker in 10 years. The best guest speaker I listened in the past 10 years. So I hope अल्लाह करे वो आपके लिए भी इतनी अच्छी हो। कमाल कर दिया इस खातून ने। उसने कहा अमेरिकन को मैंने बताया कि मेरा वैल्यू सिस्टम है, अरे मैं अपने वैल्यू सिस्टम के साथ काम करूंगी। हाँ जी, और वो जनाब माँ भी है, खातून भी है, हार्वर्ड की पढ़ी हुई है और अमेरिका में एक बहुत बड़े इदारे में काम करती है। तो हम ये समझते हैं कि जनाब oh, Dianne Welsh, you're there. Hello.
Hi there. How is everyone?
Fine. It's snowing here. It seems to be cold. Or is it a picture behind you?
Yeah, it's the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. that I took the picture in, I think it was April, with a dear friend of mine from Romania that had us visit. So it's actually my picture I took. So it was creative, so I wanted the ladies, the mom entrepreneurs, to see it.
So once again, it's a great honor for us that Dianne Welsh is here, and it is many years, I think it is many years when we met on a breakfast somewhere in the United States. I've been meeting Diana at various places in the United States. Diana is a very well-known lady across the globe on women entrepreneurship, and she has been the president of the United States Association for Small Business, if I'm correct.
Yes.
She has been the president of the United States Association for Small Business and Entrepreneurship. And while she was a young lady, she used to sell ice cream, if I remember. And maybe she used to sell ice cream, make ice cream. And I will appreciate if she can recall her story as well today. And then she got married and helped her husband. And then she had kids. She helped them grow. And then she worked and she taught entrepreneurship. And her expertise is, she's the author of many books. And one of the books is in my library. And I wish that Diana comes to Pakistan and I invite her and I offer her a ticket. And we be the host. And she shall experience the hospitality of Pakistan.
And the wonderful,
Diana, you know, people, when they leave Pakistan and when they are our guests, they have tears in their eyes when they leave us. I tell you.
I believe it.
They have tears in their eyes. I tell you, because our women and our mothers, everyone will want to take you to their own house.
Oh, that would be wonderful. And lots of good food, and I can meet everybody. That would be great. Shahid is a very dear friend. I think very much of him and what he's.
And then Diana Welsh, She helps universities, cross-departmental entrepreneurship. She helped engineers and other departments start entrepreneurship, and it's marvelous. So the purpose of this course, Diana, is that many mothers in Pakistan and many mothers in our part of the world, they seem to be left behind. They sometimes feel they are left behind because full-time jobs were not available 9 to 5, and only men could go there. So, and you see, in the recent changes which have taken place in the past 10 years, the technological changes and the IT changes and the mindset has enabled women to understand who they are. They are phenomenal. They are enormous, even taking care of their family, their kids. So your example is a very interesting example for them as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, as a grandmother. So we would like to listen to you as a role model for Pakistani women, that despite the competitive environment in the US, how you were able to make a mark, how you were able to, and what skills and capabilities did you learn from your childhood, your father, and how did they help as you moved along? So these things, and work-life balance. So these are the things, I think, which even you see from the religious perspective, Abrahamic religions. So our course, we talk about Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. So we have super mothers. I just take 1 more minute. Super mothers. I'm writing a paper which I'll be submitting for GSPM day after tomorrow is the last date, actually. I'm just giving, I and Misbah and Amberine are doing the finishing touches. And you see, we came up with a construct, entrepreneurial mindset construct for women. And we have found 4 superwomen. You know, the wife of Abraham, Hajira. And then we have the mother of Moses, the poster mother of Moses, Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh. And we have Maryam, the mother of Jesus. And we have Khadija, the wife of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him all. So these 4 mothers were amazing. They not only raised kids, they helped their family, and they were great nation builders. So today's session, once again, we have thank you for coming today, and you're free to talk whatever you like. And but the purpose of this, like 40-50 women there today, and they are in this course for like 15 hours. And the purpose is that after this course, every woman will be making an intention that before they quit and exit this world, they're going to help 1 million people. They're going to live a life of contribution of social, environmental, and ethical sensitivity. They want to contribute something, not in their own family, in their surrounding community. So over to Dianne Welsh, and once again, thank you. We have no words to thanks. So God bless you. God bless your husband, your family, your kids, and your pet. Your pet is fine? The dog?
He's very good. He's all 3 pounds. He's just a little guy, you know. Little Yorkshire Terrier. He's just little, but he's.
So Misbah will be. I will be asking permission to leave in 5 minutes. Is it okay? And my team will take care.
Yes.
And we will be continuously. We'll be doing the research with you. Okay.
Okay.
So over to Dianne Welsh, and Misbah, please take care and say a very good. And I would request at the end of the day, maybe 2-3 women can summarize and say thanks at the end. So Misbah, will you ask somebody to say a thank you now to Dianne Welsh? Thank you very much.
Sure.
Over to
Thank you.
Dianne.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's really an honor to be around such wise women. I already know you're wise and very good. So I'm here to help you, to give you some idea about my background and how I did it. And it wasn't easy either, I can tell you, because I was working on my master's degree and my doctorate degree and raising my daughter, and all at the same time, and all these pressures and how to manage everything, how to balance everything is not easy. And I think women around the world, it's the same, you know, so thank you for having me today. But I hope to give you some inspiration also, for you to think about that each one of us is really a hero. Hero. What we know about entrepreneurs is that the more we have the hero within us, the more successful we are. We have to believe in ourselves. So we have to have, hero stands for hope, H, hope. E, efficacy, I think I can do it. I believe in myself, I think I can do it. R, for resilience, we have to be very resilient. You know, things come at us and we handle them and then go the next day. And O, we have to be an optimist. We have to be positive. We have to think we can do it. Because otherwise we have a lot of people telling us maybe you can't do this, but we have to believe in ourselves, the hero within us. So my story is very simple, really, is I grew up in the middle of the United States in a farm town in Iowa. And so I had two brothers and me, and we would have a little competition who could make the most money on the side. I was about 10 years old, I think 10, 12 years old in this period. We did it every summer for like 3 years. And I had the idea to pick red raspberries and black raspberries that grew wild around our house. And then I would put them in little baskets and I would take them to the local market, the local store, and they would pay me cash. And so I would do this every week, or sometimes I would get them 2 or 3 times a week in season. And I would make money this way. My brothers were making pot holders, you know, for the stove, for the oven, so that you don't burn your hands. They were making these. And so my brothers said to me, no, we are going to make more money than you. And so we had a competition, and they would sell these to the neighbors and, you know, people they knew. At the end, I made the most because I would constantly work harder, and I would go out and find these berries growing wild and collect them and then take them to the store. So I was very productive, you know. And so this was my first entrepreneur story when I was 10 years old. And then later, my father created the very first soft-sided luggage in the world in 1962, 63. And he didn't go to college, my father. He just had a high school degree. And my mother, she joined the business also to help, and she would sell. And then they became very successful because they had high quality. A lot of people copied this luggage. It was called Boyt, B-O-Y-T, but it was sold in big department stores then around the world. And I learned from this because when I was in high school, secondary school, I would go and also help my mother sell on the phone. And so I did a lot of jobs there. I did the cutting of the threads where they made the luggage. I worked in the shipping room. I tried different things. But I was very lucky because no one ever told me, my parents, I couldn't do anything. They never really said you can do anything you want, but they never said, no, you have to do this, this, and this. So I was very lucky that way. So I felt like I could do anything. And I even sold this luggage in person during college. On the weekends, I would go to the retail stores and sell the luggage to luggage shops and other shops. And so I managed to help pay for some of college this way. Then when I was working on my master's degree, my daughter was very young, and my husband and I had a store, an ice cream store. We called it the Ice Cream Castle. And we got the idea very simply that we looked at the environment and there was not good food by the university. And there were a lot of students, and The only place to eat was in the basement. It was very dark, very crowded, and very greasy food. And we said, you know, this isn't so good. And what if we opened a store across the street? We rented a location. We painted it bright orange with white trim like the ice cream. We call it sherbet. It's no cream in it. It's just ice milk, ice with flavor. So it was bright orange with white, and someone in the art department painted a sign for us, and we paid that person. And the ice cream castle was born. And what we did, very simply, we didn't have a very big space, so we couldn't have a grill for hot foods, but we made cold sandwiches like tuna salad, and we did have hot dogs because we had a little hot dog warmer. And we made different sandwiches, and we put some ingredients in these that most people didn't put in the United States. So we grated apples, and we put that in the sandwiches, in the mixture, and they were very popular because it tasted very fresh. But the main thing we had was ice cream. And the ice cream was from a dairy that no one could get the ice cream except it was homemade, and it was in a town about 2 hours away, a big city called Kansas City. But we had it shipped to us. They would bring it just for our store, and nobody else in town, in the little town, had this ice cream. So people would come all times, day and night, with their children after classes to get some of this ice cream. So we had the sandwiches as well as the ice cream. But I guess what I want to tell you is the ice cream was unusual. No one else had it. And so we found sort of a niche where people wanted something and the quality was very good. And so we would get the ice cream shipment once a week, but we try not to run out of anything in the freezer we had. And we kept maybe 10 flavors. But we had to work very hard because we were open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, so 12 hours a day. And this was very exhausting because I was also in school, and my daughter was very small, so she was 6 months. So I would hold her on this hip, my left hip, hold the baby. And on the right hand, I would scoop the ice cream, because if I didn't hold her, or my husband didn't hold her, she would get her hand caught in the fan for the cooler, to keep the freezer cold. So it was a little dangerous. So we had her at the store, and we're trying to keep her busy and occupied. And so we only had one child, so she didn't have anybody to play with. So we brought in the playpen, but she learned to really like the customers. The customers would talk to her. And so I would go to class, come back to the store. My husband would stay at the store, then he would go to class, and we changed it out like this. But the good thing is we were able to pay for college with no loans. And then at the end, when we finished school, we sold it to somebody else. So we couped some of the money in the equipment. But it was very difficult because we had to be open 12 hours. And if you're open, we're constantly cleaning, we're constantly watching this. Then we tried to maintain the home. So we had an apartment, and we had to wash the baby clothes, we had to wash everybody's clothes, and then we had to keep the house clean. Then we didn't want to eat just the hot dogs and tuna sandwich from the store. We needed other food. So it was a lot of work to try to maintain the school, the store, and the home life. And I think many of you are in the same position, right? You're trying to do everything and keep everybody happy and keep everything up. And So it's a challenge. And maybe some of you also, you have your children helping you with the business. Is this true?
There are so many women who are like planning to start the business, and some of them have started, but they are still in the beginning stage.
Okay. And your businesses mostly are from the home, right?
Most of them, but there are few who go to their personal boutiques as well, and there are women who have children like bigger age as well as younger age, both age groups. So yes, they are multitasking. As you said, it's difficult and it's challenging.
Yes. Yes. So, you know, but you can do it. And what we know about women, one says helping husband in dairy farming, that's a lot of work. What we know, and so maybe you can make some ice cream from the cows and dairy farming, you know, and then sell it because this might be really popular. But you know, and have a little store around the products maybe. But you know, this what we know about women entrepreneurs around the world, no matter what country, no matter what religion, no matter if it's hot or cold, what we know is women give back to the family the most. So they put all the money that they need to save some money to keep the business going, to grow the business. But we know that if they have a tendency to always are helping the family, you know, to a great extent. And if you're not married, as one person said, it's also hard because this can be an advantage or it can be a disadvantage depending on if the husband is helpful or not helpful. Some husbands aren't so helpful. I know about that. And some husbands are helpful. So, you know, the main thing is to be the hero within you. Hope, efficacy, I can do it, resilience and optimism, you know, and to believe in yourself. And this is very, very important no matter where you are. So right now, what I'd like to do is, oh, they're showing you the video or the PowerPoint slide. So go to the second slide. And the second slide is, okay, this is the first one. Here's the second one. So this is the hero within us, the hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism. You know, being positive, bouncing back from adversity is resilience. Efficacy is really confidence, but it's saying, I really can do this. And hope is having goals and pathways. So today, what I think we should do is have you set one goal for yourself for this week, not too much, and then you have long range goals maybe for 1 month or 6 months for your business. But every week have one goal that you meet. And I do this with little Post-it notes. Can you see it?
Yes.
You don't have to make it fancy. Just put it on a piece of paper. It even can be one word. And this is what you'll try to get done this week. You know, I think it's very important to set short-term goals as well as long-term goals. Okay. And so I'm looking at the chat, and actually my husband, this story maybe wasn't so easy as I told you, to be honest. Someone says helps a lot. My husband helps a lot. Well, my husband during that time, he's passed away now, and he got diabetes very bad. And so he had to go in the hospital. So then I was doing the store with myself for maybe 1 year. And then he passed away. So even though the story sounds very good, it has a lot of difficulties too I faced that I don't usually talk about. But you have to believe in yourself. And I was realized at that point I had to take care of everybody. So I did it. And then another lady says, please share some time management tips as I'm a mother of 4 and live in a joint family system. A joint family system, can you explain? Is that with the grandmother and or other families all living together? I'm not sure what that means.
Basically, living in a joint family system, she means that she lives in a joint family system and she has 4 children as well.
Yeah, what does joint family mean?
Joint family means that she lives with her in-laws and her relatives.
Oh, okay, okay.
They don't live in a separate, they don't live there.
Okay,
Yeah.
and this is common, I think, in Pakistan. Extended, we
Yes,
call it
yes.
extended family.
Hmm.
Thank you very much for that answer. And well, I think that with that, you have a more responsibility, but also maybe there's an opportunity for them to help you. So to find out what everybody can do to help the business, to help you do it. So maybe they could make the meals some of the time, or maybe they could do the laundry some of the time, or maybe if you're doing handiwork, or sewing, maybe somebody could do part of that job so that it's a family helping the family. And okay, all right, so so it says mother-in-law is the head of the family. She makes all the decision. Brother-in-law and his family. Okay, aunts and uncles together. It's an interesting comment. If they help you in the business, sometimes it can be the opposite, not to give you more self-confidence. Well, if they want to make all the decisions, maybe that is the situation. But I think each person's situation is unique. It can be a positive, it can be a negative. How it can be a negative, because I've done many studies. I've been in 55 countries where I've done studies. Sometimes they try to interfere too much. They want to make the decisions, not to make you make the decisions. So it can be difficult. And so the only way around it is to see if you can convince them. This is why I need to go this direction. We all need to help in that direction. And if it's something that you can do on your own, if it's a bad situation with your family, maybe you have to do that. How did I get the idea of selling berries at the age of 10? Because I think I have an entrepreneurial mindset from a very young age. And I looked around, what can I do to make money? Okay, so I'm only 10 years old. And to be honest with you, unlike many of the women in Pakistan, I'm not very good with my hands. My mother always said that to me. She said, Dianne, you're not good with your hands. You need to make money with your mouth. So I became a professor because I can talk really well. And I always have a lot of respect and look up to the women in Pakistan, because many of you have very good crafts with your hands. You make things, you're very, very good at this. And me, I am not good at it at all. So to tell you the truth, I wore a special blouse today. This is new, I just purchased this. It's got the embroidery on it. I love in the embroidery fabric. In Pakistan, you do very beautiful handiwork. And I like the color. And the Pakistani women, they have a lot of pretty colors, I think, with their clothes and underneath. So I wore this special for you. for today. It's brand new for me. And my friend, my girlfriend, she made me, she's an artist and she works from the house. And she made this necklace for me. I bought the stone and she made this necklace. She also handmade the earrings for me. I don't know if you can see them. But, and then she makes money from this. So I paid her to do this work. So we can always find excuses. I don't want to say something bad. But yeah, the home chores is a big problem. And if they don't want to do it, it's hard because then it sometimes falls on you. And where are you supposed to find this time to start the business? So I think we have to get everybody in the family to help. The children, the in-laws, everybody. Sometimes it makes it hard, but again, they have to understand, and yeah, they have to understand that it's for the good of the family. It's for the good of the children. Yeah, and sometimes men want to be superior. I know about that also. We have the same situation in the United States, maybe not as much as it's not as much as in Pakistan because of the culture in Pakistan and these things, but I think you have to try to get everybody to understand that it's for the good of the family and not just for the good of you, but we're trying to help. So how can you find the courage to start something new? Is you look for something that's being not a need not met. So that's what I did with the restaurant. We could not afford a big place. It only had like 2 seats to sit people, 2 table and chairs. So most people, they took the carry out. We had just a little shop. It was very small because we didn't have the money to rent a big shop. So you start small, you try to find something that is meeting a need. So when the students found out, okay, I can get something for lunch, they're there for lunch, they're in class. Maybe I can try it. So they tried it, they liked it better. They liked the ice cream. When it's hot outside, people would come just for ice cream, not sandwiches or the drinks. They would just come for the ice cream. So we sort of found something that we needed. They had to stay there. Many of them didn't have transportation or they took the bus, public transportation. So they were there on campus the whole day. So they stayed, they had a need. They didn't want the greasy food. And this is how we were able to keep the shop going. It takes investment to get started, one people said in the chat. And then they don't mark up very much for custom stitching. Please take some tips how to take this further. I think if you could join a co-op, maybe where people are doing pieces. This is, I've seen this done even in the United States where everybody, but also Sudan, where I help the women in Sudan. And the women in Sudan are also Islamic women. And they have very nice skills to make the cover, the cover. I can't think of the name. Can you help me with that, Misbah?
Scarves.
Scarves and yeah.
Headbands, yeah, scarves.
Covers and these things. I was going to show you in my office some of the things they gave me from Sudan that are handmade, but I think it's impossible maybe from the camera to see them. But they worked in a co-op, and these women would come together for so many hours a day when they could, and everybody would help, and then they would sell it, and this co-op had a little store. So people could come and they could custom order what they wanted, or they could sell what they have. And they worked together this way, and did it. And I think some of them worked out of their homes to do this. And but they would come together to get some instruction in entrepreneurship, sort of like my friends are here at IBM. So IBA, sorry. And so I think IBA is helping a lot with trying to build the confidence in yourself. I think this is hard because many of you have not been taught to have confidence in yourself, right?
Yes.
I think also I am putting some stories of successful women entrepreneurs that IBA helped in my book on global entrepreneurship. So IBA sent in maybe 3 or 4 stories of women entrepreneurs that have made it. One is the woman that makes the pure water.
Yes, B. Harry's.
Yes, and
Yeah,
she,
B. Harry's mineral water. Yes.
yeah, and one woman has a daycare center. For
Yeah, Zainab's Montessori.
Yeah, and they made one story also for the book. Another story. I'm trying to remember, Miss Ba, which one this is.
Third one was related to the woman whose daughter have Down syndrome. Lishba's art gallery.
Yeah, and so, you know, the big thing is to find the need. And so the first woman is the need was for clean water. The second woman, they said there were people needing help with the daycare, right? For the education of the kids. And so you find a need and then you try to meet it. And maybe a little bit of the money isn't made too much with the hand, because if you sell in Pakistan, a lot of people do this themselves, maybe women. But if you can get the exports going or find a company that will help buy your stuff, then this might be a way to make a little more money with this. If it was me, I can't do this at all. So, but I think you maybe are very talented with these skills in Pakistan. Not everybody though, because everybody have different skills. So these 3 stories will be in my new book, 2020, Cases in Global Entrepreneurship. And
We are thankful to you. We are so much thankful for it.
we're very excited to have some cases from Pakistan about successful women that can be good examples. And but you all can do it, because these women, I think, had same issues, a lot of same issues. And the more you can get your family to be helpful, your husbands to be helpful, to agree, you know, to do this. And sometimes you have to take the time, you know, like maybe you want to go to bed at night from 10 to 12 o'clock midnight, but maybe you work 2 hours right then. But to find little pieces during the day, maybe when the kids are taking the nap and resting, where you can do this, and try to get the team, the family involved. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Can you please share the details in WhatsApp group, dear? I'm not sure how to do that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's a different comment. It's some other participant. Can you, ma'am, can you share your experiences from your country, like the women who are working there, the challenges those women are facing related to family-related entrepreneurship?
And I see someone made the comment that we have Bay Bud Society that runs a co-op for women handicrafts. That's very good. You know, so maybe if that's something you're good at, you can join them also. There's a lot of stories about women entrepreneurs, and I think I'm better telling my own story. There's a lot, you can read a lot on the internet and about women entrepreneurs, and when I get the new book published, I will share. They will get copies. I think I'm having 10 copies sent to IBA. I made the publisher agree to this, no cost. So you will have stories to read from all over the world, actually, women entrepreneurs. But I went on after the ice cream store. I finished my master's degree, and I went and got my doctorate. And I was trying to raise my daughter by myself then. My husband wasn't, he passed, and so this was very difficult. I have a daughter when I started my doctorate, 2.5 years old, and I have to take care of her. They had a daycare center at the university I paid, which was very helpful, but at first I couldn't get her in it. I had to go to another one, and then an opening happened. I could get her in. It was very good because it was the students that were majoring in childcare, so they were very interested. And then I worked, and I would put her to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and I would do work till 2 in the morning, my studies, because during the day I had to be at class, and she was at the daycare center, and when she came from the daycare center, I needed to be with her, to be a good mother and play with her and feed her. And so this was very difficult. And then when I finished my degree, in about 5 years, maybe 7 years after I graduated, I started a consulting company to help businesses because they were asking me to do things that weren't part of my job. And I said, okay, how do I handle this? And I said, okay, I do it, but you have to pay me. And this was also very difficult, I can tell you, because a lot of them just wanted me to do this without pay as part of my job. But it wasn't part of my job. My job was to educate the students, not to help the companies, you know. So I started my own consulting company when I was about 42, something like this, 40 something. Now my age is 64, I tell you, because I just had a so I'm
That's great.
Thank you very much. And so I really like helping women. This is what makes my world better. What makes me go on and work more is if I can be of help to people. And this is huge inspiration for me to be in front of all these women from Pakistan. Thank you very much. But I didn't ever advertise. It was only word of mouth. I wasn't even sure if I would know how to advertise, but I got a reputation in franchising, in family businesses, and in women entrepreneurs, and so I help them. But I don't ever charge anybody for what I'm doing here, you know, only if it's a company that can afford it. So need versus skills. You have to, this question is what to select. You have to combine a need with your skills. Okay, so in the United States, there is a need to make, for instance, children's clothes when I was younger. But I can't make anything with my hands. I only talk with my mouth. So there's a need, but I don't have the skill. So you have to see what is there a need for with what you have the skills for. Or maybe you can develop those skills. But for me, I can't do these things with my hands. My grandmother, she made wedding gowns. She was very skilled seamstress. And her husband died very young at 18 years old in a very terrible accident. This was my great-grandmother, actually. And she said, okay, what am I going to do with my life? I have kids. I have one child, and I have to support the family. And this was a long, long time ago when women didn't work in the United States. But she said, okay, I'm good seamstress. I can make, and people were willing to pay more for the wedding gown. So she made wedding gowns, not everyday clothes, because she knew she had this, knows how to do the beading, she knows how to do the gemstones, she knows how to do the embroidery, and she can sew, and she make custom wedding gowns for women, for people getting married. and people will pay, the family will pay more. So this is how she supported her family. A long, long time ago, this was maybe 1904, 1910, a long, long time ago, when women in the US didn't work. It wasn't proper to work, but she said, I'm working. And she supported her family. And she didn't get remarried. She just supported it. She didn't want someone else to have her children. She wanted to raise her child by herself, and she did this. So I think for me, I have very strong women in the family. My mother, she also joined my father to help in the business. My mother had one thing she was very good at. Also, she's not good with her hands. Her grandmother, her grandfather, my great-grandmother, very good with her hands. My mother, not good with her hands. But she was like me, she could talk. And so my father was selling the luggage on an 800 number, like toll-free number, because we didn't have internet back then. And she would call the luggage stores and say, okay, we have this wonderful product. This is why it's good for people. It's lighter. It doesn't hurt their hands. It doesn't open up if you put too much clothes in the luggage. And it allows you to put more. We make with the best materials, high quality. This was a big thing with this luggage. And why don't you try some? You know, back then it was just the hard luggage. So they said, okay, we try. My mother would talk them into it, and they would try, put in their store, people would buy, then they would start buying more. And so she was very good at talking on the phone. And then when I was in high school, I was maybe 15, I started also doing this with her at the company and selling. And at one time, AT&T, it's a phone company in the US, said, okay, we're gonna come and we're gonna train you how to sell on the phone. And they came in and they listened to my mother, and then they tried to hire my mother to teach them how to do this. Because she was so good at it, they said, you can teach the whole country how to do this. You can come work for us. And my mother said, no, my husband won't like that. So, you know, she was very, very good. So I learned this actually from my mother, because you have to sell yourself every day. You have to sell yourself every day. My mother was born my mother, no one ever knew her age until she died, and she died at 77. This is the only time I ever knew my mother's age. My mother would never say how old she was. And she worked very late in life. And now I'm 64, I'm still a professor. I enjoy it very much. I have no intention of retiring. If I can help people, if I can do the studies, if I can make the world better, this is what makes me keep going. So my vision was to improve the lives of women around the world. We will do that through our businesses, through our work. And then women give back, you know, they help their families, they help society, they help their community. This comes naturally, I think, for most of us. You know, it's actually in the Quran about this, you know, and women can have businesses, it says in the Quran, because the wife of Muhammad was a successful businesswoman, correct?
Yeah, it's very good to hear it from you. You have a lot of knowledge.
I know about this, yes. And so, you know, and because this is, so my mother, she always did this, and I was very lucky to learn from her. But what was she good at? She was good at talking. So what did she do? She didn't try to go sew the luggage and make the luggage. We had sewing machines, and there was women that we hired to do this because they were very good at it. They knew how to make their own clothes, and it was farm community, so a lot of people did this, you know, in the middle part of the United States. But my mother, she couldn't even do this. My mother couldn't even sew on a button. I would sew the buttons on when I was a little girl. you know, and I would do all the ironing. This was my job, to make it so no wrinkles. And, but my mother, she didn't work in the factory upstairs because that she knows she can't sew. What does she do? She sells because she's good at talking. So I learned this from my mother, to be honest with you. I learned this from my mother. And, but my dad, he was a very kind person. And so when the women that sewed, they can't find the babysitter. You have this problem also, right? And so he would say, bring the child to me. And he would babysit the little kids in his office. You know, while he's managing a big plant, he would say, bring the children to me and I will take care of them. And so he was a very kind person. And my father was smart because the women, they had a problem. If they don't find the babysitter, they can't come to go to work. Maybe the babysitter's sick or somebody in the family can't do it that day. He needs them to sew luggage because he has the orders. So he needs to fill the orders. Some of these women were very skilled at luggage. And so he said, don't worry, bring it. And I even remember him when I was a little girl. He would, you know, when I'm saying little girl, I was 12, 15. He would be babysitting like, you know, 3 and 4 and 5-year-old little kids, you know. And I remember one time a 2-year-old. And so other people in the office, they would also help, you know. But he didn't say, don't come to work. He said, don't worry, you bring it. And then the employees, those sewers, they were more dedicated to the company because he would help them, right? And when people would get old, we have something called Social Security. Maybe you have it when people get old also in Pakistan. They get a little stipend check from the government. You have this, no, Lisa? Well, it wasn't sometimes enough to support them. They get food and stuff. So he would keep them hired just enough where they would still get the check from the government, but they would get other money. And he would have them fix things, repair things, and these things. So kindness is very important, I think. Anybody can be kind. Anybody can be mean. All must be kind to everybody. This is very important, I think.
Thank you so much for your session. It was really inspiring. I hope everyone has learned a lot of things from you, and the story of your mother is so inspiring. And like you said, that word of mouth is very important. You should have like speaking skill was all that your mother had, and also because you said that since your childhood you have been working and you have been humble and you want to help people in the society, and it's a very big thing that you don't charge them, you just want to help them so that they can grow, and that is something very different. So
I will tell you also, make a point, is my father had to pay my mother. She didn't do this for free. She got salary. She got salary for working, and so did I. And I worked there even when I was 7 years old. I swept the floors, but he paid me. Not a lot, only $1. But I got the money for the work. So we always have to get the money for the work. Even if you're married, you have to get the money for the work. All right. Thank you so much.